Hey, welcome back, fish muggers. Okay, so in a previous video, I mentioned that I was going to be doing a build out of a new tank sooner than I expected to do because I had a little bit of a catastrophe. If you didn't watch that video, I'll fill you in really fast. But I had a 10-gallon tank sitting right here, and I had like 3 goldfish in it. And one morning I woke up and I walked through water. It was leaking out all over the place. My wife and I were running around and getting the fish into a safe place. I put them in another tank, draining the water and cleaning up the mess that it made. I mean, it got in the drawers here, it got under the cabinets, and it was a catastrophe. So what I want to do is give you the whole spiel of how to set up a tank for the first time, as simple as possible, right? So it's not a complicated process, but if you do it right, and you do it right the first time, you'll be happier down the road. I have some hardscape left over from the previous tank. I'm going to use that again. It's some rocks that I had, rocks that I literally got from my yard. And I had some like twigs that I was doing in there because I was kind of trying to do like a little swamp sort of thing, I guess. Swamp pond, that kind of thing. And I don't think I'm going to use those again. I might go buy some spider wood because it's just pretty. I like spider wood. It's so easy and it always makes everything look great. So I guess in this take right here, I'm gonna take you outside because it's kind of a nice day. I'm gonna take you outside and show you some of the substrates that I have, and then how I put it in here. I actually had to clean this tank. So this is a brand new tank. My wife picked this up for me. I had to clean this tank. I have some RO water that I use. I use this RO water to clean all kinds of things because, there's nothing in the RO water. So it doesn't leave streaks and, like water spots on everything because there's nothing in the water. So it's like pure water. It's like the best water to clean with. And I'll clean this whole tank with RO water, get it ready to go. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm gonna have to clean it again once we fill it up and all that. And I'll be doing things in there. It'll get dirty again, but give it a good initial cleaning so that it's ready to go. So let's get started with that. I don't need to show you how to clean a tank, okay? But that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll show you, and then I'll take you out in the driveway. I got all the stuff set up out there, and I'll show you what I got going on out there. This is where I saved all the plants, so I just throw them into buckets. All right. Anybody need any guppy grass? I have a lot of it. So I got a few things here. Yeah, I got some dragonstone here too. I wonder if I use that. Got 2 pieces in there, 2 nice pieces. This is the broken tank. And these are the rocks I had in there. I also had sticks. I was trying to go for like a little swamp sort of thing, like underwater swamp or like, kind of like a back creek sort of idea. They were cool, but I don't know if I'll do that again. But I'm definitely going to use these rocks again. They're just granite. Yeah, granite rocks. I got these from the lake out behind my house. And if you look at the sand and everything that I got there, I can reuse that even, So I'll probably get that all scooped up, thrown in a bucket, and just save it for a later date. And I'll use it underneath because it's not so pretty now. It'll be all mixed up with all the other stuff. But you can actually use a strainer and strain out, a lot of it, and then, get a pretty decent looking substrate that you can reuse. Different mesh size strainers, and then so you can get creative. You don't have to go all, buy all new stuff. Okay, so now I'm outside. So here's a few of the substrates that I use. You can see I got some play sand there. I got some gravel. This is fluval stratum in here. You've seen that. It looks like the little black balls. I actually got this from somebody where I bought this tank, and she had the entire bag of this stuff in her little 5-gallon tank. And actually the one that's next to the goldfish tank on the counter that you saw earlier. All of that was in there. And I was like, man, you didn't need all of that. So I have lots of that to use. I also, like, the first layer you're going to put in your tank is going to be gravel. And I have this gravel here that I had in another build. And I took it out and I just save it because you can reuse this stuff. It's okay. There's a mixture of gravel and rocks and and all that. And that's just going to be my underside. You won't even see any of it, so you don't have to worry about how it looks. It's more of a filler. And, being it gravel and everything, there's like, I guess what people say is that it'll allow for bacteria to grow, under your substrate. Basically, those rocks are just like, landscaping pebbles. It's really dirty. You're going to wash this stuff off good. I also rinse my play sand. And that's what this bucket over here is for. And I'll rinse it inside of here. I can use the garden hose and I rinse it about 4, 5, 6 times and then dump all the little sediment off. And then what we'll do is we'll put it in the tank, and I'll show you like how I fill it into the tank. So here you see I put the sand into my bucket, and I kind of get an idea of like how much I want. So like for a 10-gallon, I don't really need a lot, but sometimes I'll do more than what I need. So whatever extra I have, I can always put it back in the bag, right, and use it somewhere else. But put more than what you need, rinse it out. I'll actually stick my hand in here and swish it around while the garden hose is being, in here. Swish it, swish it, swish it, swish it like that. Dump it off. You'll see a whole bunch of the sediment is up in the water. Dump it off, swish it, swish it, swish it, and I'll do this like 4 or 5 times because, well, I just don't want to deal with it. Some people are like, oh, I only have to rinse it once and it's good to go. Yeah, I err on the side of caution, so I don't have to do water changes and just get it as super clean as I can get it. I mean, you're out here, you might as well do it. It's not that hard. And I'm not going to show you that whole process. I think you guys get the idea. I'm ready to go. I've cleaned my sand. I've got all my stuff. I cleaned the tank. I was going to do this inside, but the birds are being so incredibly loud that I was like, you know what? I'll just do it outside. It's kind of nice out anyway. So I'm set up right here. Hopefully we got I tried to set the camera up as best as possible. I've got my gravel, I've got my soil, and I've got my sand down there on the ground. And I mean, this is not difficult or anything. I'm going to give you an idea of what I'm going to do here. And keep in mind too, you don't have to go with placing. I mean, you could do like other people have used, blasting media, like black blasting media, which I actually have in a bucket over there. I was thinking of using that, but no, you know what? I want play sand because this is something that people can typically do. Play sand is cheap. It's like what, $4 for 50 pounds. So yeah, I mean, play sand's a great way to do this, and and I'm going to give you an idea of like how much to put in there because you don't need a lot. I mean, a little will go a long way. Some people like to take their gravel and their soil and put it into what's called medium bags. It kind of keeps it from like, getting back up on top of the sand and, making a mess. But it's such a small tank. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it straight in there. I'm going to put my soil and I'm going to cap the whole thing with the sand. So, let's get started with this. I walk around like this all day with towels on my shoulders, so I'm going to take these guys off. Oh, another thing too, guys. If you buy a tank, like say on Marketplace or Craigslist or secondhand, when you're washing it out, and I've done this, and to disastrous effect, don't wash it with a cloth or a sponge because you don't know what was in there. Maybe the previous owner had sand in there, and in one grain of sand will ruin your tank. I promise. It's horrible. So if you wash it out with like a brush or just rinse it out with water. You don't have to super scrub it. Usually you don't have to super scrub it. You can later come back with a razor blade when it's all full and just clean off everything. But don't use a rag, don't use a sponge. It'll scratch up your surface and you'll be very mad. I've done it. It's horrible. So this is a brand new tank. I don't have to worry about that. I went and I rinsed it anyway with the hose. I even washed it with the RO water and then rinse it with the hose. So really, RO water didn't matter. But it doesn't matter. It's gonna get cleaned like several times during this whole process. Just while we're filling it, while we're adding plants, when we put water in it. So I'm just gonna try to keep it neat for the video, right? And then I get my handy little. Go ahead and buy some of these. You can get them at the dollar store. Just get a bunch of cheapy ones. Don't use your wife's. She'll be mad. I want to go for like oh, and then choose the best side that you like. You know, look at the plastic. Is this the best side for the that I want to use? Actually, it might not be. Let's look at the plastic on this side. Yeah, that looks a little prettier. Actually. If you get like a secondhand tank, you know, there may be more scratches on one side than the other. So, like, you know, carefully look at your tank and decide which side is going to be the front. All right, because you only get one shot at that, right? All right, so so I got a little bit of the gravel in here, and I'm just gonna backfill it because I want to do like I want to do like a little hill, you know, give it just a little bit of dimension in here. So I'm gonna put most of this to the back, and I'm gonna keep it off the edges, and I'll show you why in a little bit. My wife says I always put too much stuff in, and that might be true. That might be actually true. I'm just gonna smooth this out. Be careful that you don't slide it too hard. You don't want to scratch the glass. It's already in there. Nice new glass. You know what? I'm going with one more step. I keep it off all the edges because I'm going to use my sand in the end to come down over the sides to cover that. So it'll just look like the whole thing is full of sand. It just makes it a little prettier. You know what's under here. You know what it's good. Look at this. Is a dog hair in here. Maybe grass. I don't know. Let's get that out of there. All right. So then, so that's your first layer. Wow, that was really hard, huh? All right. So now I'm going to go for aqua soil. In this case, I said already, it's fluval stratum. It's just what I have available. What was good? Oh, back in here. All right. So again, you don't need much of this. Don't need much of this. I'm just going to cover the whole thing like this. I just cover it like on top, and then I push it down with my hands. Get as much of it in there that I want. And I want a good base for my roots to grow. Put a good bit of this. Look how much I've used. That's it. Can you believe this? All of this, plus some that I already used, was in that 5-gallon tank? That's crazy, right? All of this. All of this. It's a lot here. All right. I need to put my glasses on real quick. I thought I saw a hair. Maybe not. Okay. I'm gonna spread this out like so. And remember, I got a frame around here, so I could actually get away with bring this up a little closer. Most of my plants are going to be planted in the back here, so I'm going to want like a lot more soil here maybe. But the roots of the plants, they'll grow down into your gravel, and you know, there'll be plenty of places for your roots to take hold. You know, to me, the other disadvantage of using the medium bags is that your plants will grow, and then they'll grow their roots into the medium bags that are usually like this mesh bag. I'm gonna need more soil. Oh, so what I was saying is the disadvantage of the bags, in my opinion, is that if you wanted to later transplant plants because you didn't like where it was placed, or you wanted to, you know, maybe sell some or whatever, pulling them out by their roots is going to be more difficult because those roots will be growing down into the bag, you know. So you might use bags like on a bigger tank, like if you had like a 55 or whatever, and you just want to keep things, you know, neat and tidy under your substrate. But just keep that in mind. Your roots will grow down into the bags. I was saying how the previous owner of that tank had used so much of their soil in their tank, and here I am using like half the thing, right? And then it's just a matter of capping this all off with sand. Oh, and this would be a good time to put your to put root tabs in if you're going to use root tabs or whatever, you know, whatever nutrients that you want under your sand cap. Put them in now. I don't happen to have any. I need to go to the store and buy some. But I need to film this while it's nice and sunny outside. So, so I'm going to be actually just shoving them in after I put my hardscape in, and that'll give me an idea where to put them too, because I'll know like where I need them the most. You don't need them underneath rocks, although your roots will grow everywhere. They'll find the nutrients. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it here, and I'm going to get all this inside. No, I'm sorry, we hit the sand, but I need to go get a tool. So pause, unpause. Okay, so I went and got these tools. Let me show you. So this is the tool that's like made for this. Well, something you can buy on Amazon. The one that I got came in a kit of like 3 different tools. It had this. It had some big long tongs, and it had some really long scissors, which I never used because they're just too long, and I don't know, they don't work really well. So, but for this tool, it was kind of handy. It's nice. It's kind of long. It's got this thing you can reach down, and you got this little small detail one too. So you can, if you already have your hardscape in there, like all your woods in there and all your rocks are in there, and you just need to be able to work around things. Something like this is handy. But it's just your normal putty knife that you would get at the hardware store. Not this one. It's really, really dirty. I just pulled them out of my tools over there. I do body work on cars, like old cars and stuff. So this is something that you spread the Bondo around, right? This one's really dirty, obviously, because I didn't have a nice clean one. But if you could even use something like this, right? These are like super cheap. You can get a bunch of them, and you know, use this to spread things around. So I mean, it doesn't matter. You could use an old credit card. I think you get the idea. Get to work. I'm stalling. So I'm going to get some of this sand. I'm going to go ahead and start putting it in there, and it's wet. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll use dry sand, which means you got to rinse it in your tank. They'll put it in dry because it's easier to move around when it's dry, right? It's not all wet. If you ever play with the sand at the beach, you know what I'm talking about. The water changes it, and then it sticks, and you can't get it smooth. You got to do like that. It doesn't matter. We're gonna get it. We're gonna do this, right? So I start at the edges first. Try not to run your cup on the glass because you'll scratch it. Look what I just did. Oh my gosh, it's hard to do sideways. I'm not paying attention. This is why I say, guys, get more than what you think you need. I don't think I'm not gonna have enough. That's all of it. I like to have some extra too because later when I'm scaping, I might need to fill in a little section here or there. Let's spread this out and see what we got. Oh, I already messed up right here. See if we can't get that. I got my soil above the sand. Again, okay, because I like to put like a little decorative gravel in this after it's all done. Just make sure you don't like rub this stuff on your glass. I'm going to start in the front. I start around all the edges, just like so that I get a nice clean sand look. I don't want to see the soil. I know it's there, but I don't want to see it. I'll tell you something. Eventually, it just works its way up somehow. So, but in the beginning, I like it to be pretty. And this is going to settle a lot too when you put water in here. It doesn't need to be that thick. I'd say like maybe an inch to about an inch should do it. So look at that. I mean, this isn't taking long. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It's gonna move around a lot too when you put your stuff in there. you could have like a spray bottle and just spray things down. If you start to make like a big old mess in here, um, spray it down, kind of get an idea, and spraying down too will flatten your sand, and you can see like how thick or thin it is in certain areas, and then make adjustments as needed. But that is really how simple it is. I'll probably go up to the pet store and see if they have any cool, wood pieces that I can put in here. I don't think I want to do sticks again. I mean, it was cool for a little bit, but I was like, no. They were hard to work around too, so if I needed to do stuff around them, the sticks were like always in the way. So having like a nice chunk of wood, so much easier to work with. But yeah, so there it is. I mean, that's it. This is the first step. This is the first and probably the most important step. Get this done. The rest of it is just fun after that. You get to do all your planning. You get to set up your wood and your rocks and your hardscape, and that's the best part, right? Because now you're decorating. So okay, well I'll finish this segment and then join you back in just a little bit.